So the other day I was answering a question to a book tag, and the question made me think of a book by Ned Vizzini called It's Kind of a Funny Story, a book that I hadn't really thought about in quite a long time since I had read it, basically. So that experience made me think of all the books that I have read, and I'm not saying like I'm a super well read person or like I feel like I've read a lot of books, or definitely I haven't read all the books that I wish I had read, but I feel like I've read many books that I don't really mention in my channel. And watching my videos, particularly tag videos, I really found that I have a big tendency to just talk about the same books over and over again. I don't know if that happens to you or in some other channels, but sometimes it feels as though book tags are just excuses to recycle the same answers and talk about the same books over and over and endlessly, which, is not necessarily a bad thing, but I definitely would love to have more diverse content. So that's why I've decided to start this new series, I guess. I don't know if this counts as a series, but yeah, it's going to be a series of videos. I'm going to call this episodes. So this is going to be episode 1 of my new series, book recommendations. I am just super original like that. I'm gonna call it book random recommendations. This is episode 1. So in every episode, hopefully I'll be able to do some mini reviews of books that I have really enjoyed, that I feel can be interesting for people on BookTube specifically, and that I feel like I haven't really talked about nearly enough in my channel. So, without any further ado, let's get started with episode 1. I have 7 books to talk about today. So, I'm gonna start off with a book that I just adore. It's one of my favorite middle grade standalones, and this is The Thief Lord by Cornelia Funke. She's very well known for the Inkheart books and some other things that she has published, but this one has to be my favorite, other than Dragon Rider, which is also really, really good. But this has to be my favorite book by her. This is just whimsical and funny, and if you know my reading taste as far as middle grade goes, this is just exactly the type of thing that I like. It's whimsical, it's funny, it's very touching. It has a very interesting story, very, very nice. And by nice, I don't mean nice, but very cool, kind of quaint, colorful characters, very nice writing. I think this is illustrated. I remember there were some illustrations. Yeah, they're not like super big illustrations, but like just look at the chapter headings. Those are beautiful. And yeah, this story is kind of long for a middle grade, but I loved this. I think this is perfect maybe for young adult, but this is just really good young adult. Yeah, this one deserves, in my opinion, 5 stars for middle grade. Excellent, excellent book. Moving on to something very different, this is The Good Man, Jesus, and the Scoundrel Christ by Philip Pullman. You know that Philip Pullman is an author that I love to pieces, and this is a very interesting book. It's not very similar to the stuff that he usually writes. He is typically, or he's mostly known for writing fantasy, his Dark Materials trilogy, some very magical, whimsical middle grades. He also has written the Sally Lockhart Mysteries Quartet, which is a series of Victorian mysteries. This is very different. This is much more adult. It is a very cool experiment. It is basically a twisted retelling of the myth of Jesus Christ and the Bible and this biblical stories. It's very, very strange. It's not something that I thought I would enjoy, but I really did. I was raised Catholic, although I am now a huge atheist. But I definitely grew up knowing and studying the stories from the Bible and surrounded by this mythology, and it's very interesting. I definitely recommend picking this book up if you are an atheist, and also if you are not an atheist. If you profess any religion whatsoever, I think this is still a very interesting book just to see what goes on and how myth plays. If you are a very if you are a very religious person, or a very if you're just a person that doesn't want to question your beliefs, which I totally respect. I totally agree with everybody's opinion and with what everybody wants, then this is not going to be a book for you. I think this is very good if you want to just open your mindset and just question some things that maybe you haven't questioned. This is a really interesting book. Moving on to another recommendation. This is a very strange book that I don't think I've ever talked about in this channel. I read this about 10 years ago, and it's one of my favorite books, and I definitely feel like I should reread it to still be able to say that. This is The Great and Secret Show by Clive Barker. Oh man, this is a masterpiece in my opinion. I just remember being completely engrossed in this. This book is humongous. It's an epic sort of fantasy, science fiction horror. It's very grotesque and twisted. It's like Stephen King, but when Stephen King wants to be really grotesque and just batshit crazy, this is that type of thing. I loved this book. It is very character driven, very plot driven at the same time. It's just amazing, but really, really strange. If you want some bizarre fantasy with a lot of horror elements, this is for you. Moving on with a mystery, I have a book that is a little bit controversial because a lot of people really loved this book. It became super hyped a couple of years ago, or last year. Was it last year? I think it was 2 years ago. And a lot of people were really disappointed by this book, mainly because of the hype surrounding it. However, I really enjoyed it. Maybe I didn't love it, but I really enjoyed it. And that was The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. This was just very refreshing to me. It's not the type of mystery that I usually read. It is well, you know what it is. How can you be on BookTube and not know what this book is about? The movie also was very disappointing to a lot of people. I really enjoyed it. I think there's something about this story and the way that it's told through the different characters that I really enjoy and that I really find very interesting. I really loved how she plays with the psychology of the characters. There's something that I really like about this novel and how quiet and subtle it is. And a lot of people were very disappointed, I guess, because of the mystery, which is, I guess, the central part of this book because it's a mystery book. But yeah, the mystery itself is never really that exciting. It's very predictable. I didn't care. I just love the experience. I love the characters and like how literary it sometimes was. I don't want to say literary because I feel like I am just disrespecting actual literary fiction. But yeah, this just had some literary moments, I guess, in terms of characterization that I enjoyed, period. Let's move on. Now I'm going to talk about two books that I don't really remember very well what they're about, but I definitely recommend you picking them up because I remember I loved them back when I read them. The first one is My Sister Lives on the Mantelpiece by Annabelle Pitcher, and the other one is Fermin by Sam Savage. My Sister Lives on the Mantelpiece is about, if I can recall correctly, it's about this boy. His name is Jamie. He's 10 years old, and he is coping with his sister's death. She was killed in a terrorist attack, basically. That's what the book centers around. It's really devastating, really powerful, super quick read, really enjoyable, if you can call this enjoyable. It's really, really great. And Fermin by Sam Savage, this is a delicacy of a book. It's delightful. It is also super quick and very easy to read. It has a lot of literary merit, if I remember correctly. It's about this mouse who lives in a bookstore or library. I don't really remember. It's amazing. If you enjoy reading, which of course you do, you're on BookTube, you are going to love at least that aspect of this book. I don't know if you're going to enjoy this book in its entirety, but at least that part about reading and bookishness, you're gonna really enjoy it. This book is also incredibly sad. I remember this book actually made me cry or at least tear up. And if you know me and the kind of person, grumpy person that I am, you know that happens pretty much every century or so. So yeah, this book, the feels. And the last recommendation in today's episode is The Prestige by Christopher Priest. Holy Mother of Jesus Christ Almighty. This book, man. You are probably familiar with the movie featuring Christian, is it Christian Bale? And is it Christian Bale or who is it? Well, and someone and Hugh Jackman. I'm pretty sure it's Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman. Man, that movie is great. I love it. I've always loved it. Every time they play it on TV, I watch it. It's amazing. But the book, oh my god, it's very similar, but at the same time, it's very different to the movie. This has a very different structure. I'm not really going to say a lot about it because I really, really want you to pick it up and read it and tell me what you think. So I'm not going to reveal how this book is different to the movie. I'm just going to say that it is definitely worth picking up, even if you have seen the movie, even if you enjoyed the movie or don't enjoy the movie, you have to read this. I read this 6 years ago. I should probably reread it because I enjoyed it so much. It has one of the best endings I have ever read in a book like this. It's haunting. So yeah, this book is addictive. If you know the movie, you know what type of story it is. I love it. Guys, thank you very much for watching my first episode in this new random book recommendation series. I am Juan, just one reader, and I will see you next time.